time for work will pass. You can call that weakness. You better wake up before you realize poverty will visit you. Those who sleep too much, little sleep, little slumber, so shall poverty come. So if another weakness is something that when not checked leads to sin. Did you get it? Weakness is something that if not checked leads to sin. It will lead to sin. But sin is sin. Sin is not weakness. Come on, are you still together? And that's why we need grace. The third definition of grace, which has two dimensions, is grace is an enabling power of God. Is an enabling power of God that enables the recipient to do and to become what he or she cannot do and cannot become if left alone. Are we together? Grace is what? An enabling power of God that enables the recipient to do and to become what he or she cannot do and cannot become if left alone. If left without grace. Now this is very vital. Grace, unmerited favor, found us in our sin. Then grace saved us. Are you still together? After God saved us, he does not leave us like that. Grace delivers from sin. Then the third dimension is the empowering nature of grace, which is enablement. God now empower us as believers. After he saved us, he enabled us to do what, enabled us to become what we couldn't have become without grace. This is the empowering dimension of grace. And it's for believers. Until you are saved, you may not enjoy this dimension of grace. Come on, are you still here? It empowers. And the two dimensions of this third definition is we have personal grace, which I'll talk about, and we have corporate grace. But this enabling power first enables you as a person, which is the personal grace. It empowers you to do what you couldn't have done. Let me show you an example of some of this grace. Now let's look at Matthew chapter 25, verse 14 to 15. Matthew chapter 25, verse 14 to 15. It said, for the kingdom of God is as a man doing what? Traveling into a far country, who called his own servant. Take note, who called his own servant. They are already his own. He didn't call somebody's servant. The kingdom of God is like a man who called his own servant and deliver unto them what? His goods. That word good also means grace, his ability, his resources. He gave them his resources. So the resources is given to his own in the house. And if you are not part of his house, you can't have these goods. The enabling grace of God is for believers who have accepted grace of salvation. He said, and unto one he gave what? 5 talents. To another 2. To another 1. To every